first and foremost, Emily, tell us initially, why did you invest in nutrition coaching?
Yes. So initially, I decided to finally take the jump to invest in nutrition coaching, which was something I had been thinking about and sort of emailing you a little bit tentatively about for years, because I sort of twofold. For one, I had a really good interaction with a career and life coach, and I started to see there was a lot of merit for me personally to have the accountability. And the direct relationship with someone who was a coach who was really just there to help me with a specific thing. That
Mhm.
was a really productive thing in my life that I was experiencing. So I was opened up to the idea of coaching maybe more than I'd ever been. And I was just really feeling fed up with the way that I felt about food and about nutrition and about fueling myself. I had a lot of panic and anxiety around food. And if I was hungry, I'd feel really anxious. I had had episodes in the past with blood sugar issues that ended up really bad. I was in the hospital and I had to get an ambulance and I collapsed on a train before, which was really scary. And so I was really just ready to not have that be a part of my life, and to be able to take charge of how I fed myself, and my relationship to food being one that was proactive instead of just reactive and scary.
You were sort of forced into it because of some of the blood sugar issues, but honestly, you saying, I want to know what my body needs and why it's reacting this way, and I want to know how to avoid that with my
Absolutely.
choices. Love, love that. So you were basically pushed into the idea of coaching because you had already experienced the benefits of it in other areas of your life.
Mhm.
Was there anything that you were kind of hesitant about? Did you have any fears jumping into nutrition coaching, or did you feel pretty confident about it from the get-go?
I think I came in confident because I was excited to see results, but I think I also felt apprehension, because of that awareness of any time you start working with a coach or a therapist or anybody that's working you through some things, you have to do work. You have to show up for yourself, become vulnerable, identify what the issues are that you want to work through, and then do work to change. And that work to change was something I was a little bit nervous about, because the time I reached out to you, I had such an insane schedule. I was really working so hard, and my days were so full that I was just worried that I was getting myself excited for this change that I wasn't going to be able to do the things to make. I wasn't going to be able to take the steps that I needed. And so I was just a little bit anxious about not seeing results after wanting to see results and like taking the step forward. Um, which was a sort of like, I guess, an imposter syndrome fear of like, I shouldn't be here. I don't deserve this. This isn't for me. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll leave. Forget I was ever here. Um, so I think I had to kind of get over that. But as soon as I started talking with you, even from the first call, I just felt so assured. You're so wise and you know so much and you're so helpful with your individual plans. So I felt like, okay, I can do this because this is for me.
I was just going to say that didn't happen at all. You said, okay, I'm doing this. And from day dot, you have been taking action and applying everything we've talked about on your coaching calls. I think a lot of the times people are hesitant, much like you were, to try something new and dive into nutrition because we feel very cozy with our current choices. And even if we know that they should change or we want them to change, that feels a little scary and a little daunting. But that didn't happen. Like you saw change from the very first coaching call. So how did you kind of talk yourself through that fear?
Yeah, so I think that some of it was understanding that it was going to be a step-by-step process that was going to take some time. I think your whole way of approaching this, which is you're changing your lifestyle, you're doing these incremental little things to set up good habits rather than just instituting this one size fits all thing that you just have to do and change. I really love cooking and I love baking. And so I didn't want to have to give up making stuff that I really loved. But as soon as I started working with you and I started figuring out how to make meal plans that both fueled me really well and just had these really basic macros that were going to help me, protein has been a game changer for me. I was able to plan, but still do a lot of flair and flourish in what I already liked doing, just in a more directed way. So I think once I started to see, oh, I can do this and make it fit my schedule, make it fit my tastes, make it fit what my lifestyle and my family looks like right now, I started to see, oh, this is for me. I do belong here. This is something that's going to work for me. And I immediately began to feel so less panicky around nutrition. And that was huge. That was such a motivator to keep going because I immediately felt like one of our metrics was number of panicked meals a week. And it immediately started to go down, which was honestly, I can't even explain how much that changed my life to not feel this frantic energy every time I had the tiniest tinge of hunger. I felt like, oh, I'm getting tools to deal with that in a way that doesn't have to feel scary.
Yay! That was such a big win, and something that I'm so glad now you can say, I have zero panicked meals, and I know exactly why that is. It's not a secret. I didn't try some like cookie cutter plan, and as long as I stick with the plan, I don't have zero panicked meals. You've earned that. You know exactly what's required to keep it that way. Emily, you talked about the number of panic meals per week, which was arguably one of your most impactful metrics. Can you tell us, and I know this is a hard question to answer because it's hard to pack 6 months into a minute or two, but can you tell us how coaching helped you to reach your goals? Like, what's some of the progress, panicked meals included, that you are proud to have made?
Some of the biggest stuff for me, in addition to the panic meals that I feel really proud of, was the mentality around stepping up and acknowledging that this was something I deserved to think about and get help with. Even doing that enabled me to then have that confidence to really pay attention with my food plans, to really go to the gym even when I didn't want to, and recognize how movement made me feel so much better, to have me feel confident. So when I'm in social situations, I don't have to do what everybody else is doing just because it's what they're doing, but I can know what works for me and what I need and don't need. That sort of confidence and knowledge and power that I felt over how I saw myself was a huge metric that wasn't really one that you could measure, but in my own brain, I could feel it. My husband was noticing it and bringing it up a lot. And it was exciting to feel that sort of sense of autonomy and power and control over more of my own self and how I operated specifically around food. That led to less panic meals because I was then setting myself up for success, making sure that I was getting protein in the morning and I wasn't just having some sort of carby thing to start the day off and then plummeting. Knowing that, oh, I'm going to go get drinks with friends after work, so I'm going to make sure I have some hard-boiled eggs at my desk so that I can at least have something to eat, even if it's really quick, before I go off, so I don't eat a bunch of fries at a bar and then feel terrible and then feel panicked because none of that is actually going to fill me up. So I think it was a lot of this sort of brain, sort of turning inward and thinking about myself and how I take care of myself, and then seeing the implications of that sort of flood out into the rest of my life and make all of our action steps and all the things that we did week by week feel so much more possible and exciting, because I knew that it was valuable to take care of myself, and it in turn allowed me to take care of other people so much better, and feel so much more productive in my days.
And it was so cool to, yeah, answers the question. It was awesome to be a part of that journey because from the beginning, it was more about how can I make sure I'm not deficient in any important nutrients? How can I make sure I'm fueling my body best? And then towards the end, your confidence was growing. You were feeling like you could maintain your leaner body composition confidently. And so then we started getting a little more creative and talking about pre and post workout nutrition and how can we make sure that we're filling your workouts adequately. So that was cool to see too, just the evolution of your journey is like, hey, I'm ready for the next step. Let's try this. Mm-hmm. Emily, this last question, I can't even believe I'm asking it because you have referred so many awesome women to the coaching process. But tell me, based on your experience, would one-on-one coaching be something that you recommend to friends and family who are like yourself, looking to enhance or improve their relationship with food?
Yes, because the fact that you say relationship with food is what I think makes such a difference. Food will always be around us and we always have to eat it. And there's so many other diets or ways of eating that just feel so unsustainable to me. And I watch women around me do them and feel so frustrated or feel really good and then really terrible. And I feel so much compassion of, I no one should have to feel that way, which is why I think you've come up so much in conversations with people, because I feel like I'm able to confidently say, I actually was able to work with a really amazing nutrition coach who helped me see so much that I just didn't know about the world and about nutrition and about how to fuel myself. And so I think that knowing that it wasn't a gimmick, and that it wasn't something that was either just like easy, that was like a snap and it's done, but that it required, showing up for yourself and learning about yourself. I feel like it was really easy for me to talk about it because I felt like it's been so genuinely helpful and it felt so organic, and none of it made me feel like I feel uncomfortable or weird about this or this is pushy or strange. It just felt like the relationship with food really did change, and that's like you really practice what you preach. And so it felt very easy and natural for me to talk to people about it. And I will continue to do that forever and ever till everybody tells me to shut up, because I really do feel like it's the way that you approach food is something that, like, for the rest of my life, I'll go through so many seasons of change, but I'll always have to eat and I'll always have to take care of myself. And I want to know how to do that well. And I do feel confident that I've been able to learn how to do that in a way that's so sustainable and long lasting. And that I can then teach to my friends, teach to my kids, something that feels like it's a profound sort of pivot in the way that I approach something as foundational as nutrition and eating. It feels really exciting, which is why I talk about it so much. I love food and I eat so much of it. So I love talking about it with people.
That makes two of us. Oh my gosh. Emily, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your experience. I know that you are truly a model for the other people in your life. You have worked really hard for this change and you've earned every bit of it. And I'm so glad that now you're at a spot where you can say, yep, I've got this confidently. Bring it on. That makes me so proud, so excited.
Yay!